We're going to have a look now at how to find the area of a rectangle, a square or a triangle, okay? So for a rectangle, it's like we're just counting the boxes, okay? So here I've got 4 boxes going up and down, 4 centimetres, and 6 boxes going side to side. So my area is 6 times 4, okay? How I want to write that nicely though is with a formula. The area of a rectangle is the length times the breadth, okay? And here I've got, and it doesn't matter which way around these are, okay? 6 times 4, which is 24 centimetres squared, okay? For area, a 2-dimensional space has got a 2-dimensional unit, centimetres squared. And that doesn't just work. See how I've drawn this dead neatly on a grid, okay? You could have a rectangle that was drawn squinty, okay? And it's 3 centimetres and 5 centimetres. Still the exact same formula. A equals L times B. Doesn't matter which way round it is, always the same. 15 centimetres squared. Okay? For a square, it's the exact same thing, okay? We can write our formula slightly differently though, okay? We could write it, because the length and breadth are the same, it's like we've got L times L, and we can write that in a special way. It's L squared. That notation just means L times L, okay? Which is 4 squared. It just means 4 times 4, okay? Which is 16, and here we've got meters squared. That's why this squaring is called squared, because it's the area of a square, okay? So that means L times L. That means 4 times 4. And again, it doesn't matter if your square is really badly drawn, okay? But see what you want to look for if you've got a square that badly drawn. You probably want to mark in, see if I mark in these right angles, what that means is that even though it's badly drawn, I'm telling you, these are all right angles. And I want to say that these are the same length as well. And if I put the same mark, the same dash through every side, that tells me, even though what I've drawn there is basically a squiggle, what this is saying is that all my angles are right angles and all my lengths are the same length, okay? It's telling you that that's a square, okay? And I'm going to say that's got side length 9 centimetres, okay? So same process. A equals L squared, which is 9 squared. 9 times 9 is 81 centimetres squared. Easy peasy. For a triangle as well, okay? If you imagine, I made this into a rectangle, okay? Then the area of the rectangle is going to be 4 times 3, okay? But I need to half that, okay? Because I've only got my triangle. It's just half of that. It's been cut in half on the diagonal. So I've got half of 4 times 3, okay? So how I would write that as a formula, or how everyone writes that as a formula, is the area is half the base times the height, where you've got the base at the bottom and the height going up the side, okay? So you've got half of 3 times 4, okay? So 3 times 4 is 12, so that's going to be a half of 12, which is 6 millimetres in this case, squared, okay? And you can do a couple of clever things here, okay? So you could half, here there's an even number, so you could just half that. You could do half the 4 is 2, and then 3 times 2 is 6, okay? So you can half, as long as you don't half both the lengths, you can do kind of what you want. Let's, so even if your triangle's squinty, okay, so I'm drawing this, but I'm going to mark in my right angle. So I'm telling you it's right angled, and let's say I've got 8 meters and 3 meters. That doesn't make sense, does it? They're both about the same length. Let's make that 10 meters. Okay, you're still going to have the same formula, half the base times the height. Even though the base isn't really a nice base sitting flat on the ground anymore, it's kind of going up on a diagonal. It doesn't matter, okay? So we've got half of 8 times 10. Now I could do half of 8 is 4 times 10 is 40. I could do 8 times 10 is 80, and then half it, I get 40. I get half the 10 and get 5, have 8 times 5. still 40. Okay, so whatever order you do these in, okay, it doesn't matter. Remember this kind of means times? So it's like I'm doing a half times 8 times 10. It doesn't matter which way around you do it. If you were going to do it in a calculator, you maybe don't want to put a half in. Maybe you want to put 0.5 in. Okay, so lots of different ways to look at this. Okay, and in fact, this formula works for any triangle. Okay, so here we've got a triangle where it's not right angle. That's not a right angle. That's not a right angle. Okay, but this formula still works. Half the base times the height. We just need to use this red line for the height. And why that is because see if I drew a rectangle, and you can see the rectangle's same height as the red height, okay, and it's still got the same, so it's 8 centimeters top and bottom, 5 centimeters both sides. The area of a rectangle would be the base times the height, 8 times 5. But it's like we're halving that. It's like over here we've got, how am I going to, like, imagine, I'm trying to think how best to draw this. So like this and this, they're the same, okay? And this and this, they're the same. So it's like I'm halving this bit and I'm halving this bit. Overall, it's just half of the rectangle, so it's still half the base times the height. Okay, so let's do that now. So I've got half of the base times the height, so that's 8 times 5. And now I'm going to do half of the 8 is 4 times 5 is 20 centimeters squared. And again, it doesn't matter if I drew a triangle whatever way up, whatever length of sides. Okay, let's make it even a little bit neat. It's still going to be half the base times the height. Okay, I need to have that height marked in though with a right angle. Okay, sometimes they'll give you extra ones. In fact, let's do this extra one. Let's say that's like 10 centimeters at the base and 6 centimeters up and down. They might give you these extra measurements. They might say, well, this is 8 centimeters and this is 4 centimeters here. These guys are just a distraction. You only want the base and the height at right angles. Okay, half the base times the height got to be at right angles. Okay, so half of 10 times 6, 10 times 6 is 60, half it, 30 centimeters squared. Okay, so it doesn't matter which way up your triangle is, doesn't matter how badly drawn it is, as long as you've got a right angle marked in there to show you which is the base and which is the height. Okay, so that's how to find the area of a rectangle, a square, or any kind of a triangle.